Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout. My name is Joe and today I'm joined by Fantasy Football Scout Deputy Editor Tom Freeman, who will be revealing his Gameweek 9 team, and we're going to have a special chat about budget strikers. Lots of them are in form. Welcome, Tom. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay, thanks, Joe. Yeah, good. I'm kind of glad that game week is over.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't great. It kind of, we'll talk about it in a bit. It turned out okay in the end, but it wasn't much fun over the weekend anyway.
No.
But
No,
yeah,
we're
you
both
okay?
on.
You all right?
Yeah, good. Yeah, we're both on red arrows, but
Yeah,
I felt a bit better last night about the game week
same.
with because we'll look at it in a sec. But for me, I had Chris Wood in my team, and
Yeah,
he came up with the goal, which is good because he's broken the duck, which was goal, no goal, goal, no goal, and now he's actually scored for the first time in 2 games in succession. So hopefully it's
yeah,
a
yeah,
hat trick next week.
yeah. Could
Which would be
be.
good. Just before we move on, just a reminder, do press that like button, does help us out, and do leave us a 5-star review if you're listening to this on podcast, and please do subscribe on YouTube and also wherever you're listening to this. It does help us out. All the tables that we're going to show, any stats, things like that, season ticket to discuss, that's all from the Fantasy Football Scout members area, so it's well worth looking at that. fantasyfootballscout.co.uk for members offers to help you climb up your mini leagues. Okay, let's see how you got on in game week 8. So I got a picture of Saka, same with FPL General. I just kept the same picture up, Saka looking sad. Do you want to run through your team? You got 37 points, which
Yeah,
is just below average or around average, but it was a red arrow for you.
yeah, yeah. I think average was 36. I
Oh,
might be
okay.
wrong on that, but I was pretty much
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
pretty much bang on it. So yeah, I had Sells obviously star of the show in goal, got
yeah,
11 points last night. Really needed that.
yeah.
Defense underwhelmed. Gabriel got 1, Porro got 2, and Rico Lewis got 2.
Hmm.
In midfield, Dibbling 1. Foden got the late assist. He was a sub, of course.
Yeah.
He got 4. Rogers got 6, and then Bomo got 2. And then blanks across the board up front with Solanke 2, Havertz 2, and Haaland captaincy blank 4 from
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
Not much happening on the bench. Fabianski, Saka, Greaves didn't get points, and Collins just got the 1.
So who came in for you for Saka then?
Rogers.
Really? So you played Dibbling over Rodgers,
Yeah, I
and you,
did. Yeah,
and
and
you're a
this
Villa fan?
was,
What?
yeah, I wasn't too optimistic against this about this fixture for Villa. I
Mm,
thought we might struggle a little bit, and I really liked Dibbling for that Leicester game. I've been really impressed with him this year.
mm,
I think he's looked really lively when he's been on, and it was one of those 50-50 calls where I went, I couldn't split them,
yeah,
and I went for the lower own pick, but it didn't matter in the end, of course,
yeah,
because Saka didn't play.
yeah. There's a few things that are going to go on for game week 9. One is those with Saka thinking, well, perhaps we might better move him on because he's got a tough fixture coming up next with it's Liverpool, isn't it? So that's as pretty tough there. So people are thinking about moving him on. The other thing is all the budget strikers. So we're going to look at that in a sec. So
Yeah,
you've gone for a couple of 3 relatively expensive ones: Haaland, Solanke, and
yeah.
Havertz. I've got Havertz, Haaland, but Chris Wood as well. And we were talking before I came on air. And I keep thinking back to something I said on one of my videos in pre-season, which was I think this season, I thought this could be the season to just invest in budget forwards and use that
Mm,
money elsewhere in
yeah.
midfield. And I really wish I'd listened to myself then and been brave and not gone for Haaland. I might have missed out on some hat tricks, but just to have a setup, because there's so many of these budget forwards and you can easily hop
Yes.
off and off on them. And you
Yeah.
can keep all these the Sakas, Palmers, Salah. I think you can even have all 3 if you go for these budget front lines. So it is an interesting sort of strategy to go for. But nevertheless, those like you and me at the moment probably just going for 1, maybe 2 of them. So yeah, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I guess for me and my team, Solanke's and Havertz's stock has gone down a little bit in
Mm,
the past few days.
yeah,
Obviously, Solanke not any involvement in a 4-1 win at home to West Ham. That's not good. And he's dropping deep, he's
Yeah.
linking play. I still think he's going to pick up points, but maybe not enough more to warrant him
Yeah.
over somebody like Acuna, or maybe the other
Yeah.
names we're going to see on this list in a minute.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it's like we've seen increasingly over the years with strikers. They're sort of just the people who get in the way. They link up play. They annoy defenders. Meanwhile, you've got these really fast wingers who are coming down. We've seen it with Liverpool over the years.
yeah,
We're perhaps seeing it at Spurs now,
yeah, I
where
think so.
previously it was
Mm.
Kane up front or Son sometimes, but now Solanke's there, and
Yeah,
it's
just
Son,
pop.
it's Johnson, it's Kulusevski. They're the ones that are
Uh,
scoring, and Solanke's
he's doing the dirty work. He's occupying the centre backs,
doing
isn't he? A
the
little bit.
vital, important work, but it's
Mm.
no good for us. Time will
Yeah.
tell, though. It's a very short,
Yes.
small sample size. He has been injured for some matches.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm not writing him off
No,
just yet,
no,
but
no.
it is just something to, if you're an owner of
Yeah,
Solanke, to monitor,
yeah,
and obviously Havertz as well, who's
yeah,
in my team. I think there's a lot of issues at Arsenal at the moment with Saka,
yeah,
Odegaard out, a lot of
yeah,
creativity. So that might be another. We'll talk
yeah,
about it when we
yeah,
come onto my team,
yeah.
but we might look to move him on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm perhaps not this week, but I am looking to move Havertz on.
Mm.
So I'll give him another game, but I'm looking to move him on because there are so many budget strikers. I've got Chris Wood in my team, and mine's another one of these. So let's have a
Yeah.
look at these budget forwards. So I've got this from the members area at Fantasy Football Scout. I've sorted it by minutes per expected goal involvement, so that takes into account those that haven't had as many starts. So obviously, minutes per goal involvement. If they're around sort of 100 minutes, 110 minutes, Haaland would be about 90 minutes. 110 minutes. That's pretty much a goal involvement a game, and then it goes on to that really. So you can work that out for yourself. I put their assists, their goals, how many chances they're creating, shots on target as well because they get points for that. Their next set of fixtures, and also how many starts they've had. For some of them it's been injury, but some of them have sort of just come in. Like Jimenez, so he didn't start initially in the season, but has come in. So let's start with the top one. It's a guy who's back from injury, Wissa from
Mm.
Brentford. They've got Ipswich at home next. He's only 5.9. His minutes per expected goal involvement is the best out of all of these players I'm going to mention, and they're all around. I think the most expensive is 6.5. I stopped then, and I haven't bothered with any of those 4.5 lads. But so Visser, every minutes per expected goal involvement, every 116 minutes goal involvement a game. He's got an assist, 3 goals. So he's got literally a goal involvement in his 4 starts, and so he's had 4 chances created, 4 shots on target. Ipswich, and then he's got Fulham away, Bournemouth at home, and Everton away. So they're still good fixtures.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're tempted by him, or it does having Mbomo count him out for you because you don't want to invest too much in Brentford.
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? Because we've all got Mbomo on our team. So are we seeing enough from Brentford to have 2 attackers from that same unit? I think given those fixtures, I think you probably could go for it. And I think it's a
Yeah,
nice time to hop on Wizard because nobody's got him. Obviously was good pre-injury as well.
yeah,
He'll come back into that Frank team. Ipswich, Fulham away, Bournemouth, they're
yeah,
playing them at home, so that's where you want to play Bournemouth. Everton after that. Yeah, I think he's tempting. There's a lot of good names in this list, isn't there,
yeah,
Joe, which we were talking about
yeah,
before we came on. There's a lot of
yeah,
competition. But I think if somebody was going to say, I'm going to go, have a punt on Wissa now for 4 or
yeah.
5 weeks, I think, yeah, go for it.
And that's the thing with Haaland in teams, and this is why I'm. It's going to be tough getting rid of him, but even as soon as game week 10, I might get rid of him
Yeah. Yeah.
because he's not only. And I was like, I kept interrupting FPL General yesterday because I just wanted to get this thought out so much, and it's just hovering around my head that it's not just Haaland blanking, but he's taking up a captaincy I can use for Bomo, for example. I'd have been better
Yeah.
off captaining Bomo last few game weeks. And it's
Yeah,
just
yeah. I
very
mean,
frustrating.
we put a piece out on Scout last week that looked at the premiums, and one of the options there was to sell Haaland, like you just said, Joe, in game week 10. That could probably enable you to get Salah in,
Yeah.
which can cover captaincy for a few weeks. And then
Yep.
Palmer's got that great run of fixtures after
Yeah.
from game week 12. So, yeah, it's, selling Haaland, it comes with risk, doesn't it? But it could work out given
Yeah,
how well those
yeah,
premium
yeah.
midfielders are performing at the moment.
Yeah, so I mean, so for example, on the theme of these budget strikers as well. So obviously, if you've got Havertz, for example, you can move on. If you've got a budget striker you don't particularly like that's on this list, you can move on to another one of these. But also with Haaland saying Game Week 10 or Game Week 12, you can move him down to, say, for example, a 5.5. Say Strand Larson at Wolves.
Yeah,
That would be a very good move. And you've suddenly freed up about 10 million.
yeah, it's
You can put that.
ridiculous when you say it, isn't it?
So therefore, your cheapest strikers. So some people have got, they've gone Harry Winks deep. They can move Harry Winks to Salah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the power of that move. I can.
and have some money
Yeah,
spare.
I mean, for me, I might be looking to move, say, Semenyo, who I thought might keep a long time, but Semenyo or Salah. Well,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah. It just depends. I think captaincy is really important, isn't it, Joe? And I
yeah,
think we always look at these matrices on these
yeah,
videos, but I think that will dictate
yeah,
if you're not going to captain Haaland over the next 3-4 weeks, then that
yeah,
is arguably
yeah,
too much money to have
yeah.
stored in him for that period.
So that's going to be it's going to be tough. What happens in Southampton? So if he hauls against Southampton, you're going to think, oh my god, I've got to keep him. If he blanks, there's going to be a fire sale.
Yeah, I think there could be, yeah, because like, yeah, the fixtures
Yeah,
they're okay for City. I think for Haaland, I think the key is getting De Bruyne back, isn't it?
yeah,
They seem to be
yeah.
missing him,
So
so let's see how he's looking at the end of the
yeah,
week, and then when we go from there.
yeah, and
So
that will be tough because I've sort of got my heart set on getting rid of him, but I've
yeah,
said that
well,
before. Didn't go
you can
through with
still
it.
follow it through. I mean,
Yeah,
regardless of De
yeah,
Bruyne, the point stands. If you're not going to captain
yeah.
him, probably sell him.
Let's move on with this list because there's lots of options here. So this is there. Jimenez rolling back the years. Raul Jimenez at Fulham 5.7. He's got 5 attacking returns, created 5 chances, 10 shots on target. Great fixtures. Started 5 because he missed out at the beginning, but he looks like he's the main man at the moment. He's got Everton away, Brentford at home, Crystal Palace away, and then Wolves at home. It's a really strong run. Yeah, I mean, he was on my Game Week 8 wildcard video, firmly in place. He was
Okay.
he was actually my budget striker of choice.
Yeah, yeah, I can see why. I mean, he's playing really, really well at the moment. Not only for Fulham, I don't know if you saw that free kick that he scored
Oh,
for
amazing!
Mexico during the
Oh, yeah,
international
amazing.
break. So, and I took 2 things out of Saturday game, which I really liked. He played for 90 minutes in that game, which he
Yeah,
doesn't normally do, which tells you a lot about his fitness and how Silva views him at the moment. Also, I think he's going to take the next penalty because Andreas Pereira
yeah,
missed that one at the weekend.
yeah,
So I think Jimenez will be back on
yeah,
penalties. He's only, what is he, 5.7 million,
yeah,
so he's one of the cheapest forwards on this list.
yeah,
And again, I would probably put him a bit ahead of Wizard
yeah,
because of those potential penalties
yeah.
that I think he'll be on.
Yeah, I think he'd be strong. I think
Mm,
I'm looking at a Wolves striker myself, but I
yeah,
do think Jimenez and Chris Wood, who we're going to mention in a bit,
yeah,
are the best ones. So I think if you went for Wolves striker, Chris Wood and Jimenez, you could have a pretty nice front line.
yeah, yeah,
Next one up is Welbeck. He's a sort of park for Game Week 12. He went
yeah,
off injured. It looked really bad, but
yeah.
he's come back on social media saying they've had scans and
Saw
stuff. It's
that.
not actually that bad.
Yeah.
He didn't actually say, "Oh, I'll be back next weekend." So I think we might not see him this weekend. But
Yeah, didn't he say back in training soon? But
yeah,
what does that mean? I think there's got to be a bit of doubt for this week,
yeah,
hasn't there?
yeah.
But you probably wouldn't want him.
No,
Like, did you just say game week 12 then,
Game Week
Joe? I think
12.
that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
because we can see here with the fixtures. So anyway, I mentioned minutes per expected goal involvement. It's every 158 minutes. Jimenez was every 116, like Visser. Welbeck, 158 minutes goal involvement, expected goal involvement. He's got an assist and 5 goals. So he's got 6 attacking returns across his 8 starts, created 8 chances, 10 shots on target, same as Jimenez. He's got Wolves at home, which is a good fixture, but I don't know if he's going to play in this. And then he's got 2 bad fixtures: Liverpool, Man City, that's bad, and then Bournemouth, and that's when it kicks off. So you've started to get some really good matchups for Brighton there, and that's when Welbeck, possibly Pedro being back, could turn some heads. So yeah, I guess we sort of park that thought for a little bit.
yeah,
Another striker we might park for a bit, but then bring in is Avenilson, who has emerged as really the talisman at Bournemouth. Semenyo has been getting returns, not of late, Tavernier. I've called him French again. Tavernier, I meant. And Evan Ilson. You've got a lot. I mean, Christie as well. You've got a lot of attacking talent there, but Evan Ilson should be, I think, the main man up front. 5.9 minutes per expected goal involvement every 165 minutes, 1 assist and a goal so far across his 7 starts, 5 chances created. Aston Villa, Man City next, not good, but then Brentford, Brighton, and so it goes on. Really good fixtures. Yeah, I'm watching brief. I'm sort of parking him.
Yeah, I think Semenyo always looks really good whenever I watch him, and I'm always kind of gravitate towards him if I'm going to go for a Bournemouth player. He has got penalties though, as we saw at the weekend. Evan Nilsson. It's just those fixtures going away to Villa, not easy. City, about as tough as it gets. Although teams are scoring past City at the moment, but yeah, I just think, given the appeal of some of the other guys on this list, he would be quite low down on this for me, probably in the bottom 3 picks there, or bottom 3 or 4 or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Calvert-Lewin, he's just a player I'm not interested in at all. I just don't, if Aston, with you're an Aston Villa fan, if Aston Villa score 4 goals, Ollie Watkins is going to be involved.
Yeah.
And I'd be absolutely gobsmacked. Everton can score 4 goals and Calvert-Lewin cannot be involved somehow. But yeah, minutes per expected goal involvement every 178 minutes. He has had 8 starts, so he's injury free, but 1 assist, 2 goals, 3 attacking returns, just 2 chances created, 9 shots on target, which is just below Jimenez and Welbeck. Yeah, he's gone up 6 million, but I think a lot of owners are looking to get rid, aren't they?
Yeah, he's just a good team player, but not necessarily. That hasn't been for FPL though, has it? You know, he does a lot of that dirty work in the team, and I think it's really tricky for owners because you've got these really good fixtures still, haven't you? Fulham, Southampton. Fulham aren't going to have Joachim Anderson at the weekend. He's suspended, so yeah, I think if I probably owned him, I'd probably just, as frustrating as he's been, give him a couple more weeks, but I certainly wouldn't be looking to bring him in right now.
No, certainly. But they are good fixtures. Fulham, Southampton, West Ham, Brentford. He's going to be a test for owners. Chris Wood, I think, is the man of the moment because he's played for so many FPL managers' teams they support. We all think we own it. He played for Brighton, so we all think we own him. Burnley, Leicester, Newcastle. I can't remember. Who else he played for? Everton. Was he with Everton? Have I just made that up?
Did you say, obviously at Burnley as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I'll have a look. And
Bristol City.
For anybody who missed. Yeah. Okay. So.
And Millwall. A lot of he's beloved by a lot of football fans. 6.3 minutes per expected goal involvement every 179 minutes. No assists because that's not what he does. 5 goals, that's what he does. Created 3 chances, 11 shots on target, which is the most of any of these. And he's got some really good fixtures: Leicester, West Ham, Newcastle, and then Arsenal. So he's sort of benchable, but against Arsenal maybe, but I don't know. So some more of his former teams in the mix there. Would you go for Chris Wood?
Yeah, I would, I think. I mean, he's a good player, and that team is just set up to create chances for him. We spoke about it earlier that he could have had a hat-trick last night because he had some really good chances in the first half, which he didn't quite convert. Got the goal second half, of course, got the bonus as well on top of that, or 2 bonus, I think it was, that he got. And I just think people might not want to jump on him now because it feels like he's already scored 5 goals, but I think given those fixtures, going to Leicester's a good fixture. They're poor at defending set pieces, Leicester. So I think, he would definitely be near the top of this list for me.
I'm going to put these 2 strikers together, Kuna and Strand Larsen. Strand Larsen seems to be more advanced, Kuna in a sort of more support striker role. But they're both delivering. So Strand Larsen has got 4 goals in his 8 starts, created 4 chances, got 6 shots on target. Kuna, 8 shots on target, 11 chances created. No assists yet, but I suspect they're imminent. But I'll be hopefully talking about that with Mark Jobling for the Goals Imminent podcast this week. But he scored 3 goals as Kuna. So Strand Larsen minutes per expected goal involvement was pretty poor actually, every 300 minutes, and Kuna every 191 minutes. I think deep down I would go for Kuna, but it's a million difference, and I don't know if you're getting much more for a million. But yeah, one of these two I'm going to get in game week 10. I'm almost certain of that.
Yeah, it makes sense because the fixtures are really good, aren't they? And I know your team Brighton kept a clean sheet at the weekend, Joe, but I still think they can be routes at defensively, can't they? Yeah, I think I'm like you. I would take Cunha over Strand Larsen because I think he's got more routes to points. I think he's on a few set pieces. He's probably be on penalties if Wang and Sarabia aren't on the pitch. More routes to points. I think assists will come as well. But it is that £1 million. What does that unlock somewhere else in your team? If that enables you to get a Palmer in or something like that over an £8 million midfielder or whatever, then it might be worth it. So
definitely. And the last two on the list is Vardy. He has created 3 chances, 3 goals, 4 shots on target. So not great stats, but that's what he's always been about. Minutes per expected goal involvement every 217 minutes. So it's like every other game. But Nottingham Forest at home next, Ipswich, Manchester United and Chelsea. Mixed bag of fixtures. He's just chipping away. I think owners can. I mean, they're not lucky. That's what he's done. He's just an elite striker. In a poorer team than others, but doing the business. Delap is another one in a poorer team, but he's a very good striker. 5.7. He's got 4 goals. A goal every other game. He's got Brighton up. Have I got Brighton? No, he hasn't got Brighton up next. He's got Brentford.
Brentford away, isn't it? Yeah.
Apologies there. So Delap has Brentford, Leicester, Tottenham, and Manchester United. I'm going to get loads of comments in the live chat saying you put Brighton instead of Brentford for Delap's first fixture. I'm correcting this now verbally. Okay, so I'll have to inevitably respond to it. There are thousands of people that will say that, but yeah, Brentford is playing, and Leicester, Tottenham, Manchester United. Lots to consider. Let's have a look at your team for next week.
Yeah,
see where you're at and see sort of who's got the nod at the moment. What you're going to do. So what's the team? What you're going to do? Who you're going to captain? And which maybe of these strikers will you bring in?
Yeah, so I've got Sells, who will continue in goal away at Leicester on Friday night. Got 3 defenders. I've got Porro away at Crystal Palace, Collins at home to Ipswich, and Lewis at home to Southampton. Midfield, I've got Saka at home against Liverpool, currently flagged, of course. I've got Mbomo at home to Ipswich, who's my vice-captain. Foden at home to Southampton, and Rodgers back in the team at home against Bournemouth. Then up front, Solanke away at Palace, Haaland captain home against Southampton, and Havertz home against Liverpool. On the bench, Fabianski, Gabriel, Dibling, and Greaves, who is currently injured. So what's got two free transfers. Got only 0.1 in the bank though, so not much flexibility there.
Okay, so what are you thinking of doing? Using both or using one or?
I'm not 100% sure yet. Saka and Havertz are the 2 I'm considering selling. Obviously, they've got Liverpool next. They got Newcastle and Chelsea and Forest after that. So it's a tougher run.
Yeah.
Saliba's out at the weekend. Odegaard's out.
Yeah.
If Saka's not past fit or if he doesn't feature in the Champions League, then I think he's a definite sell for me. I don't think I can keep him again because I don't think my bench is as strong this week. I could absorb it last week with Rodgers first sub, but this week I don't really want to be doing that. So I've got 2 options. I've been interested to get your thoughts, Joe. If I sell Saka and I sell Havertz this week, I can get either Palmer or I can get Salah in. So I can get either one of those midfielders in. If I go Palmer, I can afford the slightly more expensive forward, so say Cunha. If I go Salah, then I'd need to probably get a Strand Larsen or a Raul Jimenez or something like that. But I'm not so worried about the striker. I've got to decide if I sell Saka, who do I want more, Palmer or Salah?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking, and exactly what's going through my head at the moment. My instinct is Saka to Palmer, just get that done because Palmer's price is only going to go one way. He's got a strong home game against Newcastle.
He does.
He doesn't have such great other fixtures after that, but then it does get better.
It does.
And then, but if I do want Salah though in game week 10, but if I got Salah, I would probably captain him. So that would mean I would probably do Haaland out for that Wolves striker, whichever, and upgrade one of the midfielders.
Palmer feels like the bright pick for this week, but it's like after that, Liverpool and even Salah against an Arsenal team with no Saliba might get a bit more joy. But then he's got Brighton at home, and he's got Villa at home, and he's got Southampton away. Now he might get a rest in that Southampton game. If you're looking at fixtures for Salah, just look at what they've got in and around that, because there's a lot of big matches. But I think before that, I think that Brighton and Villa double header at home is really, really good. So I've just got to decide whether I go Palmer now or Salah.
Well, I think just as we were talking there, the sensible approach would be to get Salah in early. To get Salah in, even though he is against Arsenal, he could get you something, and get Salah in early, and get Havertz down to one of the Wolves strikers. And just do that, and then wonder how you're going to do Palmer another time, because Palmer.
Well, I think then I would delay it, and it would be Foden to Palmer in a few weeks' time.
Exactly, that's the way I would look at it. I want Palmer the next game week, but I'm not sure I want him the next two after that. Whereas Salah, I don't necessarily want him next game week, but I do want him the next two. So, if you don't fancy Havertz, and depending on whether you think Saka's going to start or not, because I would take Saka starting. But we'll find out this week, I think.
If I did by the end of the week think Salah's the one I'm going to go for, it just makes sense. And Saka's going to play. It probably makes sense to delay it a week and have 3 free transfers next week and then do it.
Yeah,
Saka at home against Liverpool's fine.
Yeah,
so
that's sort of what I'll do if Saka's anyway. But if he's in any way a doubt, it's too much money to.
Yeah, I can't do it again. I'm not going to triple captain Haaland. I know a lot of people are looking at it. I just don't feel without KDB in that team at the moment. I know it's Southampton. He could easily score 3 or 4 goals at the weekend. But for me, I'm just happy to captain him this week, I think. I'm not really considering the triple captain.
Yeah, you got Foden as well. So, you've got extra.
Need him to start.
Yeah.
I was really thought he would at the weekend.
Yeah, a lot of people did. Yeah,
so disappointed he didn't, because that was a good fixture for him, I think. And but the hope is now that they needed to bring him on at the weekend, didn't they? It wasn't working before that. Yeah. So the hope is he comes back in.
Indeed. Excellent. Well, thanks so much for your time there. Lots to consider. Lots of big decisions this week that will have knock-on effects for future weeks, especially around those premiums. But definitely budget strikers are the talk of the week, and I think you and I are both going to get one in at least over the next couple of weeks or so. Good luck with the game week. Good luck everyone watching and listening. Take care. Won't see Tom next week because Tom's away, but you'll see me on some videos, and but we'll see Tom after he's back from being away. Take care. See you soon.
Thanks, James. See you soon.